Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Commissioner's Corner. This is episode 6. We are going into week 13 of the lag season, and things have shaken up in this league. I mean, there's a lot going on. The playoff race is almost set. We almost have an idea of what the full bracket's going to look like. Not quite certain yet, but today we're going to go through the standings, the bracket, and our week 13 preview and the big matchups to keep an eye on. Start off with the standings. I'm back. Huey Lewis in the news, number 1 in the league, point differential, 9-3. We've pretty much secured a 1 or 2 spot right now with 2 weeks left. We're looking good. I Fucked Your Mom, Cam Frost, had a little bit of a down week last week. I called him, but I had a great week. That was our matchup last week. So right now I'm 1, he's 2, both at 9-3. Then we've got the Lake Show and Luke's Belly Rolls at 8-4. A tough spot for Montgomery last week. He's obviously been dealing with injuries. Things have been going on. Kareem's on a bye week this week. Don't know what's going to happen there, but he's fighting for a higher playoff position. And then we've got Luke's Belly Rolls also at 8-4 in that 4 spot. And then it gets a little interesting. Let My Camera Go at 7-5, sitting alone in 5th place right now. And then you've got Fiery Goodell and Pam was holding Jim back, fighting for the 6th spot in this playoffs. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. Both at 6-6, Fire Goodell and Pam was holding Jim back. We'll get to the matchups, but Connor has a tough matchup that has big playoff implications going into this last 2 weeks. Trey with a much more favorable matchup in week 13 than Connor. We'll look to see maybe a little movement there. Does Fire Goodell miss the playoffs? Right now, it says Fire Goodell has an 89% chance of making the playoffs and Trey a 9% chance. But I think the odds are a little bit different. And then we go to the bottom. We go to the mighty bottom right now where 8, 9, 10, and 11, all sitting at 4 and 8. Pardon my team, Margot's Loin, Big Baller Brand, Keeking It Real. I don't think, if I had to speculate, my thing would be either Keeks, Big Baller Brand could slip into the basement. I think Margot's Loin and Pardon My Team are kind of out of the conversation at this point just based on point differential. But still possible that any one of those teams could finish in the basement on a bad week. You know, maybe their team doesn't perform well. Something could happen there. And then sitting alone in the basement at 12 is 3-9. Nope, Kobe. McInnes is loading up for a dip mile. 2 weeks left to make a major push. Now, we're going to go take a look at the scoreboard here. Talk a little bit about the matchups going into week 13. First matchup is me versus Margot's Loin. I myself am dealing with some injuries. I've got Waller out, probably doubtful right now, may not play. I've got Debo's got a groin injury for the next 1 to 2 weeks. Probably he should be able good to go for the playoffs. Nick Chubb on bye. But this is why I constructed the team that I have. Waddle's been performing like crazy. Gaskin's been performing like crazy. I've got McLaurin on my bench. I've got good bench players who are going to be able to come in and produce. If you told me in the beginning of the year Terry McLaurin was going to be coming off my bench, I would have said you're crazy. Hasn't played in a couple weeks. Look for me to put him in the lineup. Margot's Loin coming off a strong win. He's got a good team right now. His team's performing. This team could be dangerous. This is a sleeper spot for me. Look for me to possibly lose this week. It could happen. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying it could happen. Next matchup. This is one of our big ones. Keep an eye on this. Pam was holding Jim back versus Nope Kobe. Trey wins this. He'll be 7-6 on the year and possibly move in, depending on what Connor does, into that 6th spot in the playoffs. Still a week left to decide playoff picture after that, but that's where we're sitting at right now. Nope Kobe at 3-9, obviously in that 12 spot. If he could pull off a huge win here, he could vault out of this spot in last place. We've got a lot of those 4 and 8 teams going up against each other this week. It could happen, but this is a huge matchup, not only for playoffs, but also for that last place spot. Nope Kobe's sitting there right now, but could hop out in this. This is my game of the week, and personally, it could go either way. Leonard Fournette's playing out of his mind right now. If Grant gets Kyler back, I don't remember if Kyler played last week or not, but if he gets him back in full strength, this team could be dangerous to come in for a fight out of that basement in the last 2 weeks. Keeking It Real versus Luke Belly Rolls. I mean, Luke has put up nearly fucking 60 points max the last 3 weeks. I don't see him winning this, even a slight chance in hell. Chandler's already secured playoffs, so it doesn't really matter for him except for seeding. But, I mean, Keeks is fighting for his life right now in 11th place. I mean, if this motherfucker runs a dip mile, I think he's out of the league. I don't think he does it. I'd love to see him do it. He's going to be puking everywhere. This is something I also wanted to bring up. We can talk about this as a league. We had this conversation over Thanksgiving. When we run the dip mile, if they puke on lap 2, and some of the dip comes out, do they have to replace and keep running? I think they have to finish it and replace the tobacco. I don't think they have to restart, but I think they have to finish, stop, replace the tobacco, and keep going. That's just my opinion. That's what I see. So that's Keegan and Reels versus Luke Belly Rolls. I think Chandler wins this by a good 30 to 40 points. I don't see Keek's team having any shot in hell, especially the way Matt Stafford and Russ have been playing. We thought they were going to be good fantasy quarterbacks. They're not. They kind of suck. So then you've got the Lake Show versus Pardon My Team. Montgomery's already secured playoff positioning, but Pardon My Team still fighting to stay out of last place. Ryan's team's a bit of an enigma because he has a really good team. They've had the injury bug, and they've also just been accustomed to not bad play, but bad positioning by coaches in the league. James Robinson, who was probably a top 5, if I remember correctly, fantasy running back last year, hasn't done shit this year. You know, he's going to have Kareem Hunt out. He's got Josh Jacobs, who will hopefully be good to go. Who knows what Dak's going to do? He's been a little bit inconsistent, but hopefully he can get back on track versus Pardon My Team, who, like I said, is trying to fight to stay out of this basement. My heart says take Montgomery, but I could see Pardon My Team coming out and putting up a shocker performance. I think, is Kamara back? He's either been back or he's back this week. Hopefully he does really well. I could see Pardon My Team sneaking this, but for sake, the Lake Show's already got playoffs turned up, so it doesn't really matter for him that much just for seeding, which he is in the 3rd spot right now. So they're going to be fighting a little bit for seeding up there. We'll see what happens. It's still a possibility that the Lake Show or Luke's Belly Rolls could get, or even for that matter, Let My Cameron Go could get a bye depending on how Cam and I do. That really is that could shake up the whole thing. And then you've got Let My Cameron Go versus Big Baller Brand. I mean, this is an all-time fucking stinker of a game. Who gives a shit about this game, really? I mean, I think, Joe's secured in the playoffs just off point differential. I think the only thing that could happen right now would be that Trey sneaks into the playoffs over Fire Goodell, over Connor. I think that's the only scenario we're waiting to play out other than last place, which I'm taking Let My Cameron Go over Big Baller Brand all day. I expect Big Baller Brand to fall to 4-9, and whoever wins out of that 4-8 group, if Nope Kobe wins, it just puts him in a worse spot. So we'll see what happens there. That's another big game. And then we've got the second game of the week. I Fucked Your Mom versus Fire Goodell. An all-time bad spot for Connor to be in. I will say this. Connor probably, I don't know what the score was last week, but Connor decided to start Cam Newton over Joe Burrow. And that's just kind of like a shocking play to me. I'm not really sure what he was fucking thinking. An all-time stupid play from a guy who's typically pretty good at fantasy football and knows what to do. I mean, I guess he thought Cam Newton was going to return to glory and throw 4 touchdowns and run for 3 more. I don't really know. But it ended up being a really bad play. Cam Newton gets benched. I mean, Joe Burrow didn't have a great day. I think he had 16 points. But that's 10 more points than Cam Newton had in the entire game that he played for Carolina. But this is a big game not only because, like I said, I'm in my trap spot of if I lose to Will this week, which is possible with some of the injuries and bye weeks that I have, I lose a game. If I Fucked Your Mom wins, he goes back to the 1 seed. So there's some disparity here. We're still trying to figure out this playoff picture. None of these teams, Cam or Connor, are in trouble for getting in last place. But Fire Goodell trying to sneak into the 6th spot. Really tough week last week. Really tough week. A bad performance. Can he bounce back and get a win against the 2nd overall team and put himself almost, I think that would pretty much secure himself in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. No, because Trey could come back next week, but I'm not sure what the matchups are next week. Haven't looked that forward yet. We'll have another Commissioner's Corner next week talking about that. So then we've got this playoff board and everything, and the playoffs are shaken up kind of not how we expected, but if we look at it right now, we've got me in the 1 seed bye, I Fucked Your Mom in the 2 seed bye, and then you've got 6 versus 3, Fire Goodell versus the Lake Show, and then 5 versus 4, Luke's Belly Rolls versus Let My Cameron Go. So really the only spot right now that's not secured is that 6th spot. So that's where we are right there. This league has come to fruition, and right now in the playoffs, there's only one team in Chandler who has won the championship before. So there's a good chance we're going to have a new champion at the end of this. I'm hoping it's me. I like the way my team's playing, the depth of this team. I like what we're doing, but it's not a sure thing. I'm playing well right now. I've had a really good last 2 weeks, but don't forget, 3 weeks ago I only put up 86 points, right? So it's definitely possible for me to lose. I'm not invincible or anything. My team is very good and we have depth, but it's not a sure thing. So that's going to be where we stand for now. I like where I'm at. Huey Lewis in the news on a little bit of a roll here. We went 4-3, then we went 4-0, 0-3, and now we're on a 5-game burner getting to 9-3. So it's been a good 5 weeks for me on a little bit of a win streak. Looking to keep that going, finish the season strong, get my guys healthy, get off bye, and we're going to be smooth sailing for the playoffs. Connor, Goodell in 6th spot, could lose out to Pam was holding Jim back and Trey. We'll see. Keep an eye on those matchups this weekend. That's huge. Starting Thursday, that's going to be enormous. So that's where we're at right now. That's the state of the league. Everybody have a great week. This has been your Commissioner's Corner. I'm looking forward to wrapping up these last 2 weeks and getting to playoff talk. Last place, as everybody remembers, just want to refresh everybody's memory. It doesn't matter. The consolation bracket does not matter. It's if you come in last in the standings that you do the punishment. Consolation bracket means absolutely nothing. Be on the lookout for that. Nope, Kobe's in trouble, but we've got a bunch of 4-8 teams who are just looking to dive down into that spot right now. Could Nope Kobe make a statement this week? Come out and perform greatly against Trey and move himself out of the basement? We're going to find out. That's Commissioner's Corner. I've been your commissioner, signing off.